we are live. Welcome back to the stream. Welcome back Twitch, welcome back YouTube. Alright, today we are gonna talk about a topic that is fresh off the press. Not really. It's why is art so damn expensive? And throughout the stream, I can answer your questions about it while I'm doing some expensive art myself. But without further ado, let's just get into it. Kick back and enjoy the stream. After I, of course, message some people. 1 second. Alright. Let's open Twitch chat on my phone here so I can keep up to date with all the special emojis and junk that Streamlabs refuses to show me. Make sure I turn the volume down. There we go. Alright, that's perfect. Sounds good to me. Alright, let's get into it. So, the first reason that art is so damn expensive is something that I feel like not a lot of people understand. In order to even start doing art, well, you have to buy programs. And there are some free programs, but it also takes time. But yeah, so for video editing, we have. Oh, that's no problem, Lisa. Nice to see you back. I'm gonna be live for a while. I mean, you can feel free to message me if you want, but I'm probably not gonna get to answer it for a little bit. I'll be busy, but yeah. But yeah, programs. So my 3D program alone, this guy right here, which I need to close. That costs $1,000. It's no small price to pay. And not to mention all the time it takes to learn those programs in the first place. So it's not cheap. And you know, I pay a $10 a month subscription fee for Photoshop, $20 a month for Premiere, and that's not to mention the several other programs I've bought for 3D to help with rendering, to help with modeling, for retopology and texturing and all that junk. All in all, I've spent quite a bit of money, not to mention schooling, which not every artist ends up spending, but still a factor to consider. Ooh. Let me go ahead and liquefy this real quick. There's some things I wanted to edit. Now that I've been gone for a bit, I can kind of narrow the head here and round off that head here and put that in there. There we go. Something like that. Yeah, that should work. Alright, let's go ahead and make some adjustments on this. Turn the lightness all the way down. Now that we've gotten the figures separated, turn the opacity down. And now we can start with some good old-fashioned line work. Alright, let's get my brush for line work first. Right here. Perfect. Alright. But yeah, number one, definitely programs. They're a lot more expensive than you think, especially for artists. Now, there are free alternatives that beginning artists can use, but if you ever want to do professional work, unfortunately, well, you know, some of the free alternatives can do professional jobs too, like Blender. Blender's really good. You just kind of have to work with it a little bit more than most other programs in order to get it to do professional looking things, which can take extra time, which also, you know, feeds into the expensive art thing. And then, yeah. All right, let's get this. All right, getting this looking pretty good. Just getting that mustache in there. All right, let's go down there like that. It's not exactly looking a little creepy there. All right, let's get this collar. And after we get this collar, I'll go on to number 2. Alright. Alright. Kind of make this a little thinner. Give it a little detail. All right. Make this a little thicker to indicate that there's shadow underneath there. Just do a little crease. Perfect. Okay, so number 2 is something we touched on briefly in number 1, and that is time. So in addition to programs, an artist, I mean, obviously it takes a long time to learn a skill. And last I checked, what we do to people who take time out of their day to do something for us is we pay them, usually by the hour. But, you know, artists, depending on the artist, will charge a different amount. I, for one, do a semi-hourly charge. It's more of I estimate how long the project's going to take, or how long it should take me, and then I figure out how much that would be with $25 an hour is what I charge my services at, and then whatever that number ends up being is the charge that I do. So it ends up being an hourly charge, but not quite an hourly charge. It's it's like a flat rate, because if I do happen to go over that time or under that time, I still get paid the same amount. So it's more of an estimation in that respect. But, you know, different artists do it different ways. Some people keep track of their time, which is totally a valid solution. Certain websites, if you use them for freelance, though, don't actually allow you to do that. So whether or not that's an option for you is, all dependent on what you're using to do your freelance. If you're going out of your way to acquire them yourself, or if you're using a website like Fiverr or Behance or Upwork. Now, a lot of the times, people like to think about, when they think expensive art, they like to think about how some guy, you know, puts a dot on a piece of paper, and they sell it for multiple millions of dollars. And that is what I like to call an absolute scam. Now, not all of it is scams. Some people use really complicated techniques to get to their... It may look simple, but they may have done something crazy to get to that stage. And they just did it for the art of it, you know, and that creates value because they spent a lot of time and a lot of thought into the thing that they were doing. So those are valid. Now, it's not to say that all of expensive art is a scam, because that's not at all the case. But I can guarantee you that there are quite a few of them that are. And that is because of the modern art craze, where you know, just create something, you'd say that you thought super deep about it, and then it turns out that you didn't. And you make a quick buck. But the only way you can do that is if you're already reputable for other artwork. So people aren't necessarily paying for the circle on paper, or on canvas. They're more paying for the notoriety of your name in that respect. And that does take time, and that, you know, to build up your reputation to that point, and at that point, you kind of deserve the money. You know, it's kind of silly, but at a certain point of an artist's career, the more recognition they get, the more they can charge for their artwork because of their name. It's kind of like a popularity contest, because you don't necessarily have to be a good artist, just a popular one. That said, you don't really become a popular artist unless you're a good artist, or unless you do something crazy. It's all about how you market yourself. And I haven't seen many digital artists be able to pull that off just yet, except for some YouTube artists, I think. They're getting there. But I don't quite think that, you know, as famous as Jazza is, I don't think he could really get away with making a circle on canvas and then selling it for, you know, $3 million or $16 million. Not just yet. Because he doesn't have notoriety. Like, he has notoriety, but not in the right place, you know? Like, you need notoriety among the rich folk who will pay literally anything to get some random shit on their wall. But yeah, that is one reason why art can be very expensive, and the reason that art is so expensive. Notoriety. So I guess we can call that number 3. Number 1, programs, or cost of programs. Number 2, the time spent learning the craft. And number 3, notoriety. Now, number 4 is pretty easy. That one is more just, that one is the kind of art that you're doing. Now, not all art is expensive. You know, like depending on the kind of work I do, I either charge $20 or I charge $200. So it depends on what medium I'm using and what the project is. For instance, the projects that cost $20 is usually just a rough sketch, something to get an idea on the paper. It's nothing, nothing crazy. And some, there are a lot of artists, beginning artists that don't charge that much, and that's fine, but just know that the more you pay, the better the quality of the art. Typically, you do have to. I would always look for a portfolio. If you're ever looking to purchase art, definitely always ask for a portfolio, because that is, you do not want to get into a situation where a small-time artist is far overcharging because they were told to by a professional, and then get into a situation where you're paying, $200 for what equates to a middle school drawing of an anime character. So do be careful, because there are those out there. But typically, again, that's why you ask for a portfolio all the time. But typically, quality begets money. I don't know how exactly to word that, I suppose. More money equals better quality, for the most part. Or more notoriety. You could find a gem, and they could be not very notable, and underselling their services for a product that realistically should be worth a whole lot more. And that happens also. In that case, you are very lucky, and that person should maybe, sometimes if you raise your prices too much, people don't come, and then you run into that issue. But I'm always of the mind of never undervalue your work. Like I said, I make sure that I get paid at least $25 an hour to do what I do, and that's just right now for most of my work. But, different artists, different levels of professionalism, and they want to charge more. Some people charge $75 an hour, and that's just because, they have the clientele to do it, and they have the notoriety. I, for one, think that the max I'll probably ever charge is about $50 an hour. Can't really see myself charging too much more than that, ever. No matter how notable I get. Well, unless there becomes a super high demand, but then I just cut off, or limit the amount of projects that I get. But that's neither here nor there. At least not yet. All right. All right, I'm getting close to finishing up on this. At least the line work. Okay. Let's give her a sleeve in this. Yeah, oh yeah, going back to the medium that you use. 2D is typically a lot cheaper than 3D. And that is because 2D, you don't actually need a whole lot to get started. Now, if you are super frugal as an artist, all you need is a pen and paper and potentially access to a scanner, which you can get at your local library. So, I mean, like, really, sure, you have to invest in pencils, markers, and whatever you need to get your work done, or paints and whatnot, and paints are expensive. Very, very, very expensive. Especially if you want, you know, professional, high-grade paints. But all in all, the barrier for entry for 2D art is a lot lower, and you can get away with doing just pencil and paper if you want to, you know, and still make money. So it tends to be a bit cheaper than 3D art, which you need, number one, a computer. Number two, you need a good computer, or at least a half-decent computer. And those are not cheap. Then you need a 3D program, which of course there's Blender, which is free. But then you have rendering programs and you have animation programs, which Blender can also do animation, so there's that. There are less expensive alternatives to doing professional 3D art. But regardless, the barrier for entry is still a lot higher, which I know I've talked about in the previous video, or in a previous video. And that's why a lot of people can't really get into it. But that also adds to the price of the art. And now a 3D model, the good thing about a 3D model is you can sell it on places like TurboSquid, and you can just essentially make passive income after you've made the one model, as long as it's seen by multiple people and downloaded by multiple people. And you can charge something like $50 or $25, something that doesn't seem too crazy. They can download it for use in their game, for the printout for 3D printing, or what have you. All kinds of stuff. So that is one way that you can get some relatively cheaper 3D art. but just in general, 3D art tends to be more of an expensive endeavor, especially if you want something custom. It's because it also takes a lot longer for setup. See, with 2D, I can just kind of hit pen to paper, start at it. But with 3D, there's a fair amount of setup that goes into it. There's something to be said for, you know, and some people start off with base meshes. I do sometimes, depending on the kind of model I'm working with. If it's a anatomically correct human, I do have base models for those. But if it's anything else, it's kind of hard to have a base model ready for everything. And it really doesn't cut down much of the time, especially because I've done so many, you know, models from scratch. The process is a lot quicker for me to get to. So that base model really only shaves off maybe a little less than an hour's worth of work. And in the long scheme of things, that's not really, you know, it's good for like a small model, not so great for a larger model. Also, it costs a lot more money to do things like a fully detailed, fully rigged character for a video game than it does to do, say, a watering can for a prop, you know? Alright, let's see how this is looking so far. Oh, we still need the other foot. And her legs. And him. Alright. Alright, let's make this leg a little thinner. It's a bit much. And I realized that that line was supposed to be for the shirt. All right. Let's kind of move this leg a bit. Shrink it down. Alright, we're getting there. We're getting there. Now, that's something that translates from character design to all other forms of art. Try to avoid tangents. And tangents are just where one line lines up perfectly with another line. So like if you're creating a box and another box, if you line up this line here then it's kind of flat. You know, it's all on the same plane. But it makes a whole world of difference when you overlap that instead. It just creates a lot more dimension, a lot more, you know, a lot more volume. It actually looks like it's in space instead of just kind of sitting on top of each other. Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about this song. There we go. All right. Oop. Alright, we are going to have to do a leg right about there. Harris Heller, if you ever see this, I love your soundtracks. Seriously, the Stream Beats stuff is just, it's just awesome. I love that it's DMCA free. Allows me to play some really nice music without worrying about copy strikes and shit. I love it. There's a lot of those that claim to be DMCA free on YouTube, and then you end up I've gotten copyright striked for a whole bunch of playing these videos that all claim that their music is DMCA free or copyright free. It's dumb. So be careful of that, streamers and YouTubers alike, because that could get you into some trouble. Alright, something simple, and that way there's dimension, you can see behind them and everything. Alright. Drink break. Man. Been going for 43 minutes already. Interesting. Didn't think it was actually that long. Time flies when you're doing art. Ah, see, this is exactly what I mean. Had I let this go, it would have been a tangent. And then, that would have looked real flat. So instead, what we're gonna do is just do that. And now it's in 3 dimensions again. Alright. Good stuff, good stuff. Thank you, Bobby Pin, appreciate it. I try my hardest. Alright. How are you doing tonight? Alright, since this is just a dress shoe, luckily we don't need any of that pesky shoelaces. Oop. I'm doing pretty great. Just, finishing up some client work and chatting a bit. Just talking earlier about, things that make art super expensive. Not super expensive, but expensive in general. It's gonna be a YouTube video here on Wednesday after I get it done edited. Speaking of which, if you have any questions about that, or anything at all, feel free to ask. No pressure, though, obviously. This piece right here, on and off for a few days. I'd say I did the sketch. I finished the sketch yesterday. I started it the day before. I mean, ultimately, let's see. This is going on maybe the 4-hour mark, I'd say. Alright. So we got the grandfather down. Now we're gonna start on the final bit to ink. Hey, ask away. I'm totally okay with that. I've been in the art business, doing it professionally since 2014, is when I graduated college and started doing my freelance work. But I've been doing art as long as I can remember. All kinds of art. I mean, I do everything. If it has the potential to be creative, I love it. I make music, I do acting, I draw, I do 3D, I write. Yeah, anything that has to do with art, I'm all aboard. Okay, let's erase this here. Oh, actually, we don't need to do that. Well, I can promise you, it's not effortlessly. It is a whole lot of effort. So, a common misconception is that, people are just naturally talented. And that is the case. That is the case a lot of the time. Well, maybe not a lot of the time. I'd say that it's a rare case that you can be naturally talented, but that only gets you so far. I cannot tell you a single professional that has, built their career off of nothing but natural talent. They almost always have to learn something, and they practice every day. It's all repetition. That's the only reason it looks effortless, is because, you do something 1,000, 10,000, 20,000 times, and, you're bound to kind of get the hang of it. Yep. Honestly, especially like stuff like anatomy and doing certain folds in clothing and, that stuff. I mean, it becomes kind of muscle memory. Like, you get into it, and a lot of the times I'll just zone out, and I'll just, mindlessly, like this inking stuff right now, I haven't really been paying attention to much that I've done. And, because inking is kind of just muscle memory at this point. Now this eye in particular looks a bit creepy. So we're gonna push that in, not that far. Yeah, but it's all learning techniques and practicing. I've been doing this whole piece digitally. I did do a sketch, but it's a digital sketch. Oop. So there's the digital sketch there, and then I'm doing the line work now, and then I'll do the color later. Actually, I'm gonna raise these eyes up a bit, because they're a bit far down. And then actually we're gonna erase part of that as well. Appreciate it. Let me open up, just did a different piece a few days ago as well. This one it's part one of these, but this is the finished piece for the other one that I just did recently. And then now I'm working on the grandfather version. Inspiration. That is a tricky word. So, now, there are different artists that inspire me. Like, Frank Zhang is an amazing character artist that I look up to a lot, but he's 3D. There's some artists on Instagram that I look to a lot of the time for inspiration. But, I mean, the majority of this time, inspiration is more or less used as an excuse to not do something. Like someone who has art block, they say that they're not inspired, which could be true, but honestly it comes down to just putting pencil to paper and just doing something. What inspires me is the need to do better. I want to continuously improve my art and make it better every single day. And in order to do that, I have to actually draw. So, yeah, I mean, inspiration's, it's tricky. It's because it's not, it's not really just like a Mona Lisa, like you see somebody and you're like, this is what inspires me. It's more arbitrary, I feel. It's more about motivation and the willingness to move forward and develop your style or your art that inspires you, for lack of a better term. Like for this piece, this is just someone requested that I do this. I'm following their prompts and I'm putting my own spin on it. They said they wanted 3 kids with their grandmother and grandfather and on separate shirts. And so I'm following that prompt and doing it to the best of my ability. So that's more my, I mean, you know, quote-unquote inspiration for this. But, I mean, ultimately, it's just, like I said, it's just doing the thing, you know? Like, when you don't feel inspired or you don't feel motivated, I'd say 80% of getting something done or getting your motivation or inspiration is just doing it. Put something on paper, you know? If you don't know what to draw, doesn't matter, just draw something, you know? Draw a kangaroo, give the kangaroo a hat. Start with that, and then fucking, you know, go from there. Yeah. But I feel like inspiration's used... Appreciate it. Yeah, I feel like a lot of the time inspiration is used by younger artists or less experienced artists to justify not working or not practicing. You know, they'll constantly quote, they'll keep saying I'm not inspired, or I just don't feel motivated to do art, or I don't know what to draw, and ultimately it's just an excuse. You know, if you don't know what to do, just do something. The worst thing that can happen is you don't succeed in that one thing. Then you just try again. Yeah. Everyone tries to do the same thing these days. You know, it's your furry artists are doing the same anime furry drawing that everyone else has been doing. Your character artists are doing the same chibi anime drawing that everyone else is doing. It's a lot of people that are saying that it's their style when really they're just they're not looking to find their own style, you know, their own way of interpreting things. It's okay to take from things. Like, I know a lot of artists that have taken inspiration from anime, but their art doesn't look like it's anime because they have also taken inspiration from other works of art. And then they end up succeeding really well because they still have that nice, crisp anime-looking style, but then they also have this flair to it that no one else has, which is just a recipe for success. I started out drawing anime too, but eventually, I kind of got sick of it, and I wanted to do something all my own. And I'm still, I still work every day to figure out what I want to do that separates me from the pack. Because if you want to succeed, you have to be different. Or if you're going to be the same, at least be the best at whatever you're trying to be the same at. Okay. Now I drew these shoes a bit janky. Yeah, I mean that advice for sure is that's something you can take not just in art, but in life in general, you know? Like if you're gonna be the same as everybody else, be the best. And otherwise, find something that makes you unique and run with it. I'd love to say I came up with that on my own, but a lot of people much wiser and much more experienced than I have already laid claim to that. But it's great advice. It really is. Alright, we're almost done with the inking process here, and then we can move on to coloring. And I think we actually have to kind of move this a bit. Yeah. There we go. Alright, now we can get rid of the sketch layer. Kind of check out our handiwork a little bit. Looks a little flat right now, obviously, but appreciate talking to you as well. Before you leave, if you feel like giving me a follow, you can check out other art streams. We could talk more about more about some advice. I got tons of wisdom, but don't feel obligated. If you don't want to, it's fine. But you have a great night. Appreciate it. You have a great night. I look forward to chatting with you again soon. Alright, let's get this. Oh, you know what? Actually, this... yeah, that could solve a lot of the issues there. Okay. So. Going to take that. There we we go. Let's make sure we have all the in-between selected. And then select inverse. And then let's take all right, perfect. Now we create a clipping mask. And we take the midtones from that. Okay, we can kind of go wild with the skin tone here. Just make sure we fill up all of the areas, because we're going to color on top of it. Going crazy with the skin. All right, and now let's see, what were they wearing? Let's grab the pink here. All right. Perfecto. Boom, 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 boom. Bow, 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 bow. All right. This shirt colored in. Oop. Overlapping the skin just a bit there. Oh. Oh. That's right. Silly old me. There we go. Gotta prevent yourself from coloring outside the lines so you can be a professional. Let's update the title actually while we're here. All right. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Alright, we're gonna give him a nice, let's give him a kind of a muted red shirt here. Sounds good to me. Good suggestions. Then we'll go in and we'll do more details later. Or we're not more details, but color in the details later. But for now, we're just gonna give this guy just a flat. See, it's good to do flat colors first, because then you can localize the colors and make sure that you're not affecting any of the others. Just make sure we're not going over the lines. All right. We are crack-a-lackin'. That's something the kids say these days, isn't it? I'm enjoying how this is coming out so far. I think this is gonna turn out to be a wonderful project. Alright, now let's get this, and we're gonna go kind of like that. Perfect. Alright, now we can do a nice little brown, like a mid-tone brown. We're gonna keep staying in mid-tones because we're gonna do a thing of shadows and a thing of lighting afterwards. And we don't need that in our lives right now. Looking good, looking good. And we're gonna give this... Oh! Zoom in just a little bit more. Cool. And give brown eyes. With an off-white, which we're gonna fill in for everybody. You never want to do pure white because it doesn't quite come off the same way. And while we're at it, we'll go ahead and give her those baby blue eyes. Not really quite baby blue, but, you know, bluish. It is blue, but... Alright. Just go here. We're gonna give a dark gray for these shoes. All right. We don't want to go full black, because we will for the shadows. I'm just gonna go slightly darker, a little bluish for the bottom here. All right. I'm gonna give him a nice little navy blue shoe. Actually, yeah, what kind of shoes? Okay, he has gray ones in that one. That's fine. They don't need to have the same shoes. Just two different pictures after all. Sure, they're wearing the same thing, but we won't, you know. We don't need to question that. Consistency? I hardly knew ye. Oh, I never gave her shoes. Alright, well, we're gonna do... Yeah. That looks like a good color. I like the pastel colors. They're very, very pleasing to look at. Not too harsh. Do 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 do. How you doing, Kermit? I'm gonna switch this song. I really don't like that song. Alright, so we're gonna actually, well, we're gonna make it slightly darker. Yeah. And do this for her shoes. I'm doing pretty good, man. Just chilling and drawing. Getting some work in. Got this custom shirt design I'm doing for a client, of course. Let's see, we're gonna make this purple, like a pastel purple. That looks good. Anything special going on tonight? Alright, get this pastel color in here. And while we're here, go ahead and get the darker area. And then for this, I'm gonna actually take that. Actually make that darker. Oh yeah? Is it negative, I hope? Oh, okay. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I know that doctors' offices are kind of requiring you to have a COVID test now before you go in. Luckily, I don't have to go back to the doctor, I think, for like another month or so. Because that COVID test is... Ugh. Did you do the oral test or the nasal test? Ugh. I do not envy you. That test, I had to take that test one time, and it felt like I was drowning. It is seriously one of the most uncomfortable tests on the planet. I think we can actually go in here now. Oh, really? Is the children's one not that bad? One I got, they like shoved that damn thing up your nose. It was not fun. Huh. Well, remind me to go to the children's hospital next time. That is clearly the superior place to get that COVID test. So I remember someone, one of my coworkers had to get the test done and said that he couldn't drive for like 2 hours afterwards. And I was like, I mean, it wasn't that bad. Like, I was still able to drive pretty much directly afterwards, but it was really uncomfortable. Yeah, I don't... Honestly, I think he was just kind of overplaying it, but... You know. You never know. It's not like... He also is older, so I think he's in his mid-50s, so maybe it's different the older you are. I keep choosing the wrong one. Okay, so you, sir, are going to get dark brown hair. Oop. As a base, and then we're gonna put some gray as we go along. Make this fella look nice and old. What's the word? Distinguished. That's the word I'm looking for. Alright, let's get some gray in there. It's more along the edges than anything. Well, actually, I think it's more the opposite, isn't it? Yeah, something like that. And then a little bit around the mustache area. And then maybe just a tad in the eyebrows. And we're gonna give him brown eyes. Well, not that brown. That's a bit... looks like poop. All right. We're getting there. Now is just for the jeans, which is all gonna be one color. So what we're gonna do is a nice trick where we get this layer here. We get the color of jeans. And we take this. Boom. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. And of course, Photoshop is lagging. Ugh, maybe it was a bit too easy peasy lemon squeezy. There we go. All right. Well, now we can merge this down. All right, so let's get... Okay, so we'll do the shadows first. We're gonna pick a nice darkish pastel blue. Hit him with the clipping mask. And we're gonna go with overlay. Gonna test it out a bit. And we should be able... Okay, yeah, that looks good. So, I'm gonna grab and just do some nice separation between different geometry here. I say geometry when obviously it's just a drawing, but still. All right. Lock that. All right. Some nice shadow separation here. Oh, I love this song. Oh yeah. Do, 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 do. All right. Some good old rendering. All right. Could put that song on repeat and I would be totally down. I don't know why, but that just it slaps, as the kids say. All right. We're getting there. Shadows are going a long way into creating a lot of depth. A lot of separation that we needed. I love the cell the cell shaded look. Really helps a lot. I mean, it looks nice and clean. It also is relatively simple to pull off. There we go. Yeah. It's getting there. I say that a whole lot, don't I? But it's true. It is getting there. And there is finished. I like this beat. This beat sounds like something that Josh A would cook up. Yeah. Alright. Shadows are just about done. Then we can move on to the lighting. Alright, let's get this. Just kind of get into all the creases. Oh, forgot to give him shadows on his face. And also, need to give him there we go. Let's go ahead and go back in here. And make this a little darker. Good, good, good. All right. Whoop. Don't want to do that. The closer you get, the worse it looks. All right, so now we've done that. Now we can do the lit parts. And we want a warm, bright color. And that'll bring us there we go. I'm gonna kinda take down the, yeah. There we go. Alright. And now we kinda do the same thing, but for a broader area on there we go. Alright, we just want to get all of these kind of on the part that extends the most out. Light source is kind of coming in at a direction that I just pointed to that you can't really see, because you can't see how my hand is in relation to the monitor, which is fine. Alright, good. Getting a lot more depth going on now. All right. Cool. So now that we got, well, let's finish off this guy first. All right. It's looking pretty darn tootin'. All right, so now we're going to go with the darkest of darks. So we're gonna go back to blue and go super dark, near black. And we're, oop. Like I said, go back to blue, near black. And we're going to create separation between the objects. Just where no light can really shine through. All right. Nope, we don't want to do that. That's not a solid area. All right. Alright, so that's pretty much the majority of that. There's not a whole lot of areas that are, you know, dark. What we are going to do now, though, is also do the whitest whites. Which is just going to be an off-white, slightly yellow tinted. Right here on the lip, a little bit on the nose. All right. Let's just get some knuckles here. And then let's get some specular highlights on the boots, or on the shoes. Just here at the precipice of the, and just right where they're showing on the light. Okay. All right, just get some whites on your knuckles here too. Oop. Actually, let's go ahead and redo this area with just the skin color. And then we're going to go to Spotify because apparently we are out of music. And we're going to go with lo-fi. All right. All right, so one more aspect to this. Oh, yeah, that's right. First, we're going to clip, and then we're going to take this. We're going to make this alright, just a little darker. Give it a little bit of color, and then now we can merge that down and give them some good old highlights on their eyes. Get this just on the rim of the glass here. And then we're going to just take that real quick. Nah, that's fine. All right. That looks like something we can call done. All right. Let's see if we can't. All right. Let's see how that looks. I like that one better just because it gives it more of a stout vibe, more cutesy. All right, and then we're going to flip it. Well, let's go ahead and try to adjust some stuff here. Such as this guy here. And then we're gonna zoom in. Oh, not that far. Alright, and I think that is a good time. Well, let's go back into Liquefy and make some more adjustments. There we go. And very clearly, alright, that looks a lot better, I think. Alright, yeah, we have the nurturing grandmother. And then we have the strong, fun grandfather. I think that turned out pretty good. Alright, so now that we're done with that, we'll go ahead and save this. And we'll file save as. And go to PNG. Oop. First, we'll take this off. File save as. And then current projects. Nope. Do we have the PNG for the... Is it under finished projects? No. Interesting. Where, oh where, did we put Monsieur PNG? Oh, this is PSD. We're looking for PNG. There we go. Alright, we have the PNG saved. Got me centered. Alright. Yes. Save changes. Alright, we didn't save any changes to that because we didn't have to. Alright. Well, that is 2 hours. What I'm going to do is go ahead and call it a night on this particular stream. I'm going to take a break for just a little bit and then pop on with some Among Us. But until then, thank you for watching. Alright, do the outro for the YouTubes. But, thank you for watching. If you learned something, maybe hit the subscribe button, hit the follow me on Twitch. The link will be right around here. Well, actually, here. Let me redo this. Let me redo this. Thank you for joining me. If you enjoyed, hit that link down below, the subscribe button. Follow me on Twitch, which will be somewhere around here. For future live streams, talking about art and all that fun stuff. Let's see. Link to my socials is down below in the description as well. Other than that, thank you for all who joined during the live stream. Much appreciated. Thank you for the follows and the talks and all sorts of fun stuff. Other than that, I'm gonna sign out.